We are one day closer to Auburn's most pivotal matchup of the season, but will fans check out if Hugh Freeze loses to Kirby Smart? Welcome on into the Auburn Express, powered by the War Report. I'm your host, Mike G. Turn us up, turn us on, turn it out. I'm here with my good friend, Jacob Goins. It's time to get going with Gittens and Goins on a Thursday morning. Jacob, on today's show, we're going to talk about this Auburn-Georgia game. Is Coach Hugh Freeze Is he coaching for the loyalty and the commitment of the fan base on Saturday? Will apathy set in? Will it take over? You as the fan, will you check out? Hit the comments after the video and let me know. Also, let's talk about the Auburn-Baylor game at 2026 in the second half of the show. Auburn making moves here that I perceive to be financial. Is it a good move for Hugh Freeze and Auburn? And we'll lean into how fans feel about that as well, too. Starting at the top here, Auburn in the Deep South's oldest rivalry on Saturday. It is back on the plains in what we call the good rotation when you get Auburn and Georgia and Alabama at home. But this will be the first of those two tests, though, Jacob. And the way things have gone, it's been like you are in do or die mode. Now, 4-2 always was going to be a really good start to the season for Auburn. You and I have said this repeatedly on this segment. We just did not think that you would be sitting here at 3-2 with Georgia needing to be the fourth win. Not a lot of confidence in the fan base. When we did our boss toss and loss, Jacob, this was the only game I had firmly in the loss column for Auburn. I have not changed my mind about whether I think they'll win it. Can they win it? Sure. Do I think they're going to win it? I didn't think so before the season. I don't think so now. Talk to me about how you're feeling about this matchup here. Is Hugh Freeze coaching for the continued support of the fan base on Saturday?
Yeah, and I think there's two distinctions to that, right? I think there's the conversation that John Cohen and company could be having behind closed doors of whether Freeze is coaching for his job. I don't know if we're necessarily to that point yet, but this is more so, in my opinion, Mike, about the fan base, right? And what their level of commitment will be, or their confidence level, or just their excitement moving forward for Auburn football in 2025 and beyond, if you want to start thinking a little bit down the road as well. Because I understand that fans have made the argument, well, 2 top 10 teams back to back on the road and you lose by a score. That's pretty good, right? You were close. You were right there, right? Hugh Freeze keeps saying how close this team is and how they're almost there. They're about to turn the corner, but it's not the fact that you lost to Oklahoma and Texas by a single score on the road against top 10 teams in conference play. Mike, it's the way you did it, right? It's the fact that you can't move the ball. You can't score. You can't give your defense anything to defend other than a 0 on the scoreboard. And it's the fact that I think at your peak, at your best, you could be better than those two teams. You could be better than Oklahoma and Texas A&M. But here we are again, Auburn finding ways to lose rather than finding ways to win. And I think that's where this fan base is right now. That's why a lot of them are putting so much stake and value into this Georgia game. Yes, because how the season has gone up to this point, but man, it's been a long time since Auburn's beat Georgia. And sometimes it's taken miracle plays to make it happen, right? Auburn has to get back to beating their rivals, and that starts with Georgia this Saturday. So that's why I think a lot of the fan base has put so much on this game of, okay, maybe not even winning and losing, but how does Auburn look? How does this team play? Does the offense get it figured out coming out of a bye week at home at night in Jordan-Hare? Because with all of those things in your favor, if you still can't figure it out, if you still look bad and Georgia demolishes you in your own stadium, the boo birds are going to come out, and I think most of the fan base will be done with Hugh Freeze.
Bad offense can't be the way that you lose this one. I think we agree on that one. You have to, if you're going to lose this one, I think a flashy loss that's a little bit more on the high scoring side would be, there's a stomach and a grace for DJ Durkin on defense right now
Yeah.
because of what he's had to carry the last year and a half. That stomach and grace does not extend to Auburn offensively because of how poor they have done at times. So the line at this one opened at 3.5. So at least from a talent perspective, Vegas is saying these teams are pretty evenly matched. Whenever I see a spread under 4 points, coin flip, right? Is what you've got. But the over-under at 46.5. So a game in the mid to low 20s is what they're looking at here for these two teams. Do you see this one playing out this way? Auburn's getting a plus 150 on the money line right now. Georgia minus 175. Spread hasn't moved here, and it's Thursday.
Well, here's the problem is I love DJ Durkin and I love his defense. I said back in July at SEC Media Days that he's one of the best defensive coordinators in college football, and I think you're seeing that once again here in 2025. My concern, though, is at what point does the defense give in? At what point do they give out? At what point can they just not go anymore or just decide to not go anymore, right? I mean, again, you can only defend a 0 or a 3 or a 6 for so long before you say, man, screw this. I'm done. We can't keep doing this anymore. And Georgia's offense is good. You saw them roar back and beat Tennessee in Knoxville. That's a good offensive team when they're clicking on all cylinders. And so that's my concern in either this game or Missouri next week or even Arkansas in a couple of weeks too. How long can the defense go if the offense doesn't pick it up? If the offense can't respond and play the way that Auburn needs them to? And I don't know if it'll be this game because I think DJ will have them ready. I think they'll be prepared for the Georgia game, and I think they will feed off the energy in the crowd inside Jordan-Hare if they're given something to cheer about. So I think it will be in the 20s. And I think if Auburn can find a way to put 28, 31 points on the board, you're talking about a winnable football game because the defense doesn't give up that many points. They don't give up big plays. They don't give up scores. They'll let you move the ball between the 30s if you want to, but it's the bend, don't break defense of DJ Durkin. That's what I expect in this game. Georgia's going to hit a big play or two, and they're going to make a play or two on defense. The team that takes care of the football is going to win this thing. And of course, cash in when you're in the red zone and things like that. But I expect the defense to play well, and I expect them to give Auburn another shot on Saturday.
I agree. Look, limiting big plays always a key to the game, as well as winning the turnover margin. If Auburn can do those two things, they have a really good shot, to beat Georgia. As I mentioned, athletically, I can't stress enough. Hugh Freeze focused on talent acquisition since he's got to the Plains. All he talked about was closing the gap between Georgia and Alabama and Auburn. He's done that to some extent. And the question most fans have is about coaching and whether or not the coaching is going to be up to snuff in this game. Can they put together an offensive game plan that allows you to continues to have opportunities to win the game? After Oklahoma, Jacob, because of what the controversy with the refs gave him perfect cover for that game.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, you were left with the feeling that, hey, you dialed it up, but Jackson missed the throw.
Mm-hmm.
Cam stopped his route. And in spite of them taking essentially 2 touchdowns off the board for Auburn, the refs themselves, you still had opportunities to win that game the way it was dialed up.
Yep.
Texas A&M, it felt like opportunities just weren't there. And I think that is what has most fans nervous. Is this going to be a game where the opportunities are going to be there? And if they're there, will these guys be able to execute offensively? That leads back to preparation and whether or not this coaching staff can get these guys up and ready for this game enough for them to be able to go out and get what is really a must win. Before we get to our break, I did want to look at the schedule here. We've been pulling this up. You opened at Baylor. You got it, Jacob. We talked about this. You started 3-0. You got your 3-0 start.
Right.
One of the first 3 SEC games, Auburn, desperate for a road win in the SEC, did not get it versus Oklahoma. Clearly did not get it versus A&M. You got 2 more shots to get wins on the road. None of which, well, I don't know. Vandy might be an impressive road win at this point.
I would say so. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Arkansas will not be considered one. But the rest of the schedule really is about just defending home field. right? You got 3
Yeah.
wins right now. You win the rest of your home games, you're an 8-win team. You beat Arkansas, you're a 9-win team, and Hugh Freeze's future at Auburn is secure. But you lose to Georgia, and you got 4 more games at home, and one of those is Alabama. So if you only get 3 out of your last 2, you're a 6-win team. You just barely made a bowl game.
And I'll go back to what I said at the very beginning of this season. If Auburn were to trip up early against Oklahoma, A&M, Georgia, and any combination like they're on the verge of doing right now, let's say Auburn loses Saturday. Turning around and beating Kentucky and Arkansas and even Vanderbilt, maybe, like, that doesn't make up for that, right? That doesn't make up for losing to Oklahoma and A&M and Georgia, because you're talking about 2 different levels of talent here, right? I mean, Missouri maybe, but you're at home. Vanderbilt maybe, because it's on the road, depending if they kind of mellow out after their loss to Alabama last week. But just because you beat Kentucky doesn't make it okay that you lost to Oklahoma, right? They're 2 different caliber of teams, and Auburn should always beat Kentucky and Vanderbilt and Arkansas and Missouri. That should be the standard here at Auburn. But that's what I don't want to see, is Auburn go on a 3-4 game winning streak and just think that everything's okay. That's good, because Auburn hasn't done that at all under Hugh Freeze, and that would technically be improvement. But I'm not saying all is fixed, everything's fine, the future is bright, because you go on a winning streak on the easy part of your schedule. So it's more frustrating to see how manageable the back end of the schedule is, because you had so much potential to make a run if you were able to pick up a couple of nice wins and look good doing so. And now you're just in playing catch-up mode and hoping that it all works out.
It feels very desperate over the last back half here.
Yeah.
If you don't beat Georgia 4-2, again, you're in great shape. Maybe not the way you wanted to get there, but the truest thing he said at this Monday's presser was, if you win Saturday, your whole season is still in front of you. Everything's still in front of you.
Yep.
But the margin for error gets smaller. Look, next year, Auburn has the other part of their home and home with Baylor. Much controversy on social media with fans about this game. We'll talk about that next on the Auburn Express after a word from our sponsors, our friends at Amen Associates. Jacob, let's be honest. Money can be stressful. Am I saving enough? Am I investing wisely? Will I have enough when I retire? Abel's I Know More and Associates helps take the guesswork out of investing. They provide disciplined, personalized investment management that gives you clarity, peace of mind, and so you can spend less time worrying and more time living. Call 912-777-4128 or visit AIMAINC.com to see how good it feels to have experienced guidance on your side. The War Report has been compensated by Abel's I Know More and Associates for this endorsement. Abel's I Know More and Associates is a registered investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. The information in this advertisement is for informational purposes only and should not be considered personalized investment advice. All investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal, and past performance is not indicative of future results. I want to thank our friends at Sky Tobacco and Vape. Need a smoke shop that's always close by? Sky Tobacco and Vape has you covered all over Columbus and even across the bridge in Phoenix City. Whether you're cruising down Airport Thruway, rolling along Victory Drive, or making a pit stop on the 280 bypass, they've got you a spot ready for you. From vapes to tobacco and everything in between, Sky Tobacco and Vape is your one-stop shop for good vibes and great deals. Swing through today. Chances are they are already on your way. I want to thank our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORTER to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails in your life, the Rogue Shop could have something that has you covered. If you've got some traditional ailments and you're looking for some non-traditional remedies, the Rogue Shop maybe has a product for you. Our guy Richard, longtime sponsor of the show, dropping a little something extra in there for everybody using code REPORTER today. We love the Rogue Shop. You'll love them too. Just give them a shot. Let them know that the War Report sent you. One thing, our friends at setsforsociety.ai, the road to knowing self better. Jacob starts at Sets for Society. They have custom personality assessments that tell you more about how you think, how those around you think, and why you're just plain better than your coworkers. I'm joking. Don't maybe tells you why you shouldn't say that in the workplace. But setsforsociety.ai, great partners with the War Report. Visit them today to get your custom personality assessment started. It costs you nothing. You just fill out the survey and then someone will reach out to you and you can start that journey to knowing self better. We love them. They love us, and they'll love you if you stop on by. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank our friends at the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. That's right across the street from Chattahoochee Valley Community College, next to the Renfro Supermarket and the Marco's Pizza. If you're looking to get fresh for the weekend and you're in the Columbus, Phoenix City area, the Vibe Vault is your one-stop shop for freshness. Not just barbers, lifestyle consultants, the Vibe Vault. Jacob, moves are being made on the plains.
Yeah.
Auburn versus Baylor will be played in the Aflac Kickoff in Atlanta in the Mercedes-Benz Dome next year. Some feelings on social media about this. The SEC moves to a 9-game conference schedule next year. And while there's some still details about that schedule being finalized, there were some feelings about this home game being taken away. My first initial reaction was, I hate taking things away from fans, especially home games, because of what those home games mean to the businesses in the communities. And I mean, I've lived there. I was a student there. You've lived there, worked there. Like, man, on Saturdays on the plains, when there's a home game, business is booming for everybody.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it if you're upset. However, there is a business side to this. I spoke with a source very close to the situation. And Auburn, they weren't going to say no to this. Now I got to keep the numbers and some other stuff private, but
sure.
there is a financial windfall here that is significant and should help Auburn continue to compete in a landscape that is increasingly being shaped by NIL money.
Yeah.
So I listened to the reasoning for this and said, oh yeah, any business person would say, yes, we get it. There's no business deal that everybody's going to be 100% happy with. However, if for the long-term health of Auburn, not just Auburn football, but Auburn athletics, this was something that they had to do. And I hope that they release the details of it because I think it's fantastic. Mm-hmm. I hope that fans get the opportunity to understand what's on the table here. Right. But talk to me, man, about moving this game to Atlanta. I mean, at least it's Atlanta, right? Like, it's not you're moving it to Florida,
right?
It's like it's the burbs, man. I mean, look, Auburn. There are places in Atlanta further away from Auburn than in Atlanta.
Yeah, no, I know, and there's a lot of different avenues here, right? There's a lot of different perspectives and opinions and things. The general consensus from what I've been able to gain from social media and our radio show and podcasts and things is the majority of the fan base is not happy about it. And for obvious reasons, because again, you're taking away your season opener. And look, let's just call it what it is. Auburn auctioned it off. They auctioned off the season opener to the highest bidder, which just happened to be Aflac. And you're making millions of dollars here. And again, the numbers are kind of, out there speculating and things. But John Cohen felt like this was the best decision for the student athletes to continue to make money in this new era that we're in of NIL, college athletics. And look, I know there's a lot of purists out there who don't like this idea of kids making money nowadays and making more than most of us, but it is what it is. That's where we are in the games. And you're just going to have to deal with that aspect of it. But in a vacuum, okay, this is how I've described this week. In a vacuum, I understand the decision from John Cohen 100%. You go and make millions. Your athletes are getting paid. It's only in Atlanta. It's right there, right? It's a new thing in college football and college athletics, which, by the way, if fans are like questioning this or wondering if this is a trend, yes, this will continue to happen across our sport. So go ahead and be ready for that. This is not the first of its kind, and this will not be the last of its kind, okay? So in a vacuum, I understand why John Cohen did it. But I don't envy him making that decision because he made a lot of people mad. A lot of people, like 86,000 people plus another 20,000 outside the stadium are mad. And I talked with some sources with the city of Auburn about what kind of a financial burden this would be on the local economy of Auburn and Opelika, we're talking about $10 million here, Mike, that the city and businesses are going to lose from taking a home game out of this area. So that's a big deal too, that you're taking from small business owners, you're taking from the communities, and you're basically giving that to the athletes instead. And you can argue about what you think is right and wrong, whatever. I'm just kind of giving some context here. And then just from the football perspective, right, Auburn had to go to Waco on a Friday night and play a P4 game on the road to kick off the season. And now you just made it easier on Baylor. You said, hey, instead of coming to our 87,000 seat stadium, the biggest one you're ever going to play in your lifetime, instead of doing that with a ton of people screaming in your face, let's go to this other stadium that's smaller, by the way, holds less people than Jordan-Hare, and give more access to Baylor fans to get into the door. You made it easier for Dave Aranda and the Bears to make that trip rather than making them come to Auburn. So from the football perspective, I don't like it. From the community economy base, I don't like it. But from trying to keep up in today's world, I understand why John Cohen made the decision he did.
Not going to make everybody happy.
No, you're not. Yeah, I know.
But as I mentioned, you are moving to a 9-game conference schedule next year here. So in terms of what you lose year over year, I'm not sure that much is lost, right? Moving this game here, if you're still getting 7 home games. However, you're missing a big home game.
Yeah.
That people are definitely going to show up to. And I mean, nobody's good cares really about how Baylor fans feel, but for the ones that are local enough to travel to this game, I am a little sad they're not going to come and get the Auburn experience. Yeah. I mean, Auburn fans went out to Waco. They got the Baylor experience. It's nothing like what they would have gotten here.
And this matchup will never happen again. In our lifetimes, Baylor will never have an opportunity to come to Auburn again.
Yeah, I mean, so we lose that. We lose that historical Baylor on the plains for the first time in our lifetime game. And that sucks, man. It does. However, this is the college football that a lot of people asked for. If you were wanting athletes to get paid, congratulations. You asked for this indirectly. Now they have to make moves that allow them to continue to pay athletes at a high level, and that get them around this cap. Right, so that they can spend over and above the cap as well too, to continue to keep up. It's not just Auburn football that's affected. This decision has ripple effects throughout the Olympic sports as well. You got Stephen Pearl taking over Auburn basketball. He has long said that Auburn has been at the bottom of the SEC in terms of what they do with their NIL. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. But great thoughts on all of this, my friend. I want to thank you for joining me. Jacob Goins, time to get going with Gittens and Goins before we get out of here. Tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can listen Monday through Friday if you're in the Auburn-Opelika area, 2 to 4 on ESPN 106.7, or just pull us up, ESPNAU.com. We're on the line from 2 to 4, Monday through Friday here in Auburn and Opelika.
Guys, that's it for another great edition of the Auburn Express, powered by the War Report, brought to you by our friends at Golden's Cast Iron. Visit goldenscastiron.com/WR. Use code Get Your Weight Up for 15% off your weights, and code TWR for $65 off fire pits and Kamado grills. Golden's Cast Iron, work out, grill out, chill out with Golden's Cast Iron. Do us a favor, guys. Hit the comments after the video. Let us know what you think. Will Coach Freeze lose you after the season with a loss to Georgia? We want to hear from you. And also, how do you feel about Auburn and Baylor playing in Atlanta? Definitely want to hear from you guys on that. And while you're in that comment section, do us a favor, smash that super thanks button. Your financial support helps keep the work that we're doing here going. Please hit like and subscribe. We are the War Report on every social media platform. TW Report on TikTok. We're signing off, and as always, War Eagle.